Come on in, nigga. Come in. And bring your shorty. Yo, that off center.
Great conversation.
Yeah, bring.
He would be perfect for this conversation.
Yeah. Don't do that. What up, Brody? What's good?
Hey.
What's that? What's good,
Okay, how are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Pretty good?
I appreciate your boys holding me down on this motherfucker. They don't never do no lame
Wait,
shit.
say
to me.
it.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate these boys holding me down. They don't do no lame shit to me. They don't ever say no lame shit. They keep it 1,000.
Yeah, man.
Fuck with these boys.
Nah, we appreciate you, man. You good? Take my number, put it in your phone real quick.
Yeah.
Word.
I want to come on the show too. I'm dropping an album in April.
I bet. Say no more.
I definitely want to come on this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Boys be kicking it real on this
Nah, you already know.
It's like, whoa.
It is what it is. This episode is presented by Underdog. If you're new to Underdog, today's the day. Get $75 in bonus entries when you play just $5 with code It Is What It Is. So Underdog is available right now in most states, including Florida, Texas, and California, just to name a few. So make sure y'all support the show, lock in your bonus, and start playing today with code It Is What It Is. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your hosts Mace and Cam, and today we are joined with our analyst Maurice Clarett.
Mo, what's good? Killer, what's going on, man?
What's good, bro? How y'all doing, man?
Yeah, man,
Brother
we
Mace,
almost
Brother
got
Cam.
that money today, man. Cam
What
was
happened,
this
Mace?
close to being late, man. It was like 2 minutes. Pause.
I had it all worked out. First of all, I'm disgusted with myself because my gaining my weight back. I've been slacking on swimming. I usually swim 4 or 5 times a week. It got a little chilly. I ain't been swimming. Now my top button ain't snapped. So now I'm trying. Pardon me, this is just a look that I'm trying to go for it really because my top button won't snap and I can't put my tie on. So pardon me if y'all think I'm trying to show like chest hair. I don't got no chest hair, no taco meat paws and none of that. But yo, Mo, you know what I was thinking about real quick? Because before the show, I see you always brushing your hair, and I brush my hair. Mace think he the waviest one. Let's have a wave contest in 2 weeks. See who got the most waves. I'll be lazy. I'm challenging myself to see who get the 2 weeks from today. We doing double back and see who got the most waves.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's start tomorrow, man.
Hey, Mo, and do you want to join us? Everybody that tell them the rules, Cam.
All right, well, Mo's only on 1 day a week. If you're not camera ready at your Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
All right, so 11 a.m. sharp, you're fined $500.
Yeah, I heard the rules yesterday. Stat said she happy that it ain't a palm tree contest.
Yeah. Facts, man. Facts.
Yeah, she tried to throw us stray. Yeah,
I didn't have to throw it straight because he still don't got the palm tree.
Oh, we already got things worked out, Stat. You late to the party.
This 6 weeks you've been having shit worked out, man. This is 6 weeks of having it worked out.
Nice. Okay.
That's what you always say every week.
We got that worked out.
Well, Maurice is silent. It's like halfway worked out, but it's fine because you know what? We're all here. We're all on time. Everybody looks great. So we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about, right, Mace?
Yeah, I like this kind of vibe, you know?
Right.
I will say something.
Go ahead, Maurice.
No, before we get started, I just came back from North Carolina. I will say shout out because I was speaking at Fayetteville University 2 weeks ago, And I just came back from speaking at Eastern Carolina, and everywhere I went, it's crazy. Y'all don't realize this, but nobody prior to this show called me Mo. Everybody called me Reese. And everywhere when I went in North Carolina, whether it was the gas station, whether I was out and about, they was like, yo, what's up, Mo? We love seeing you on the show. So I did tell them I was going to say hello to all you all, but then shout out to everybody who I ran to in North Carolina over the last month that show love to the show. So I did want to show y'all love and tell you, I told y'all I was going to shout you out on the show.
Dope, man. Yo, let me get a solo real quick, Nick. Try to go for Mo look. Mo got that shit down. Yeah, that's the look. There we go. It's a little better. I'm going with Mo look right there. Yeah, that's the one right there. Yeah. You get a little better there. Thank you, bro. Yeah. All right. It feels much better now, man. Yeah.
Inspiration. Love
Yeah.
it. Okay. So there's a conversation about the NBA trying to globalize the sport with more international players, but actually alluding that to the NBA really trying to whiten the sport. So we're going to go to this comment by Stephen A. Smith where he said, from David Stern to Adam Silver, these guys have supported these brothers, but America hasn't always done so. If there were a bunch of Cooper flags running around, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Dirk is from Germany. I'm talking about white American born. That's a rarity in terms of superstar status in the U.S. for the sport of basketball. And then Katie had a comment as well that we'll get to next. He said it would rather not rely on the brothers when speaking of the NBA. And even though you market NBA players who are brothers, it's because you have no choice. Maurice, what do you think of this take from Stephen A. Smith? Do you agree with that or not?
Yeah, I was surprised to hear him when he said it, but I would believe him. I think it's true. And I think it comes down to people are asking, who's the end consumer of most of these games and who are you trying to sell your products to? And they try to find people that can relate to those end users or the people who are spending sponsorship dollars. And so I think that's why they open it up to make it an international game and to create space for more white players. But black players seem to dominate. And but these are the conversations. Like I know I heard y'all yesterday when they said they come to the show because we tell the truth. These are some of the conversations that I think that are uncomfortable for people to have, but they need to be had because like it almost opens up a box or forces you to have a conversation that people think about, but you don't necessarily say because you end up thinking that you have something to lose or you'll jeopardize your brand. But Stephen A., he's paused. He's big enough and solidified enough within the media space to at least have the conversation along with KD.
I think this is pretty interesting, Mo. When you talk about what this topic is really spearheading and what's at the root of this conversation, I think after hundreds of millions, we still, not we, but it's amazing how after hundreds of millions, people still feel slighted. Like, how much is enough before you feel like you're equal, right? This is just something I'm hearing, like in the undertone. You got people making 200 million, 100 million, right? Before it used to be you don't get an opportunity. Now you get an opportunity. You still don't feel like you belong. I think what you're really missing, a white guy can't give you. I'm just going to be honest with you. Pause. I talked about this before. The real ingredient that's missing from people is God, and people that got that don't you don't hear them arguing that. Like, and this is real interesting that we say this, but when you're constantly distracted and constantly, divided in your thoughts, I can see how people would think that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like even yesterday I said something about, commentators and things of that sort, using their platform to really, own in and take advantage of different people. And I know there's people trying to make a big deal out of something between me and Charlamagne. I have no problems with Charlamagne. I think when it comes to like podcasting or just expressing my views, I'm just trying to give great narrative and great objective views to everything that's going on. And I just thought that was something to add the other day. But me and Charlamagne doesn't have any issues. Shout out to Charlamagne. Shout out to Envy. Shout out to Poetic Flacco. Let's keep this show going. Let's keep it clean.
So what was your actual take on this? Makes like
That after all this money, I don't see how that's still a conversation
For who?
for black guys, black athletes.
Niggas got a 400-year head start, murder. Yo, bro, come on, my nigga. Like, that's why I just want to be clear on what you're saying. Like, yo, you about to say, yo, we gave you niggas hundreds of millions of dollars. What else do you
It's
want?
not like I'm white. I'm just saying at some point.
I know, as
Killer,
a black man, you
Killer,
saying that. You're saying
You
this
don't
as
let
a
me
black man.
hold a pass over your head. You like, yo, come on, murder. We done made 8 figures now.
What you talking? No.
Yeah, you was like niggas have made 8 figures a few times.
No, I'm saying that. But
Come on, how long you gonna use the
because
pass
deals,
over us?
No, because what I'm saying is this: when the deals that you actually negotiated for us, when you talk to other people, they're just amazing. They're like, yo, we never heard of it. Like, yo, it doesn't happen. Yo, that's what they say. Like, the feedback is, this is once in a lifetime. This is the deals that y'all negotiate. So what I'm saying is, I'm sitting there saying we're in a marketplace, and not necessarily this show, talking about other business that me and Mace does. Mace is a great negotiator. So sometimes I do be like, murder, we gonna miss out because I get pushing the envelope, but sometimes they gonna push it. You know how you slide something under the door and niggas slide it right back? that's sometimes what I'm scared of. When he slide the note under the door and niggas read it and slide it right back. That's what I'm saying. But as far as you saying, yo, niggas done got hundreds of millions, man.
200, 300.
500, $1 billion. You had a 400-year head start on us. Not only that, killing us along the way, then segregation along the way, then got the civil rights movement, the Jim Crow, it goes on. Not only that, and no disrespect.
I'm not laughing about it. It's just it's funny hearing you talk about
not
this.
only, because I know I don't really get it's the facts.
Yeah.
Look, I know what I'm doing when I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah, I know what I'm doing now. You want to sit down and get disciplined. Yo, not only that, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is why I had. Sorry. Not only that, right? And I'm very, very happy for all my Native Americans. But they getting paid. Some of them. I ain't gonna say all of them. You know, they got land. They get paid for some of the casinos, not just in Nevada and Florida. Seminoles. Fuck. Sorry, Mo. I picked my earphone in after this take, Mo. But yeah, they're trying to get some of it back. And as they should. We ain't getting nothing. You know, it was a big thing, murder, when niggas was like, yo, Ken Wildin in Black History Month talking about white girls giving head as reparations. And I was like,
yeah, that was wild.
But take what you can get. You know, what do you get? yo, my nigga. Yo, my nigga. What else are you act like they about to be former Packers and be like, yo, you know what? We figured it out, y'all. We did bring y'all niggas over here. We did ask y'all to help build the country. We did kill y'all niggas along the way. Then we say, you know what? We gave y'all freedom. Y'all not happy with that? Now y'all want to use our bathrooms and come in our restaurants and eat where we eat. Okay, cool. Fine. We'll let you use our bathrooms. Let you motherfuckers eat where we eat. But now you want to go to school with us? Now y'all niggas want to go to learn what we learn? Nah, murder. I'm not gonna disagree with you on niggas got 300 million. Just shut up. Now, I'm happy with 300 million. I'm not saying I'm not, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yo, that should call it even, right? We should call it even with that. I'm not gonna jack that. But back to the original conversation. Look, I've been saying this for years, yo. This ain't not, to me, this is not new. They're just throwing the European players or overseas players in it that are not, or white players that are not from America. It is no secret that we have not had a bona fide superstar from America since Larry Bird. I've been saying this year after year after year after year. And I like Cooper Flag, but he ain't no damn Larry Bird, not yet. And I don't know if he will be. Like, people forget because we seen the likes of LeBron James, we seen the likes of Kevin Durant, that we forget Larry Bird's a three, small forward. And outside of Kevin Durant and LeBron James, you had several black small forwards from Dr. J on down.
Yeah.
Larry Bird was some other nigga. And I know they marketed him against Magic Johnson to help save the NBA. Then Michael Jordan came along and, the Bad Boys, the Pistons, they're doing a lot of great marketing. But he was not overhyped a little bit. He was not overhyped, bro.
Yeah.
Some niggas, they try to force it on you. Pause. No, this was not being forced on black people or the NBA or people watching the NBA. This nigga was the one.
Yeah.
It's sad that he got hurt earlier than he should have got hurt, but no, they did not force him on America or people watching the NBA. They try to do it now, right? And not just with white players, with black players too. Is this the face of the league? Is he gonna be the face of the league? This person's gonna be the face of the league. Yada, 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 yada. And it's like, yo, the fans will tell you who's the face of the league whenever they figure it out. When you give us somebody that make niggas say, nah, he's the one, then he'll be the one. And I think championships sometimes are involved in that. And the people that we're talking about possibly being the face of the league may not have a championship yet. Or you may have somebody like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who does have a championship, and they be like, damn, but he's not American. But not only that, he's not white.
Mm-hmm.
Then not only that, his name may be hard to pronounce. I've seen some shit before, and I'm not saying it's right, wrong, and indifferent. I'm just saying I've seen people saying how Giannis doesn't get a lot of sponsors all the time. I'm pretty sure he has great sponsorship because of the pronunciation of his name. And they were doing a whole 30-minute special about that. Or just different people with hard names to pronounce in America. But as far as this topic is concerned, I agree with KD and I agree with Stephen A. Smith. This is not nothing new when it comes to trying to find a white American. Now, we're not sitting here talking about Luka. We're not talking about the Joker. We're not talking about Dirk Nowitzki. We're not talking about Marshall Lonis. We're not talking about Detlef Schrempf. We're not talking about the list of all these other players that were white from overseas that came and bust ass over here. Drazen Petrovic. I could name a dozen, if not more. But back to what KD said, if you could, you could. You don't have a choice on exactly. You don't have a choice. Pardon me. If you did have a choice, it wouldn't be people of color. You'd market the white person because let me tell you something. Them $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 seats around the courtside. If it ain't family and friends, most of the time it's not. There's white people buying them seats, unless you're an E40 or shout out to my nigga Spike Lee. Unless you're those type of fans, when you see the black niggas around there,
or Bootsy,
right? And what's the name?
And 2 Chainz.
Yeah, but just to let you know, Grant Hill told me to let you know when you want to go, you could go. He part owner of the team.
Okay.
So I'm not, shout out to Bootsy, 2 Chainz, everybody go to Atlanta, but when you want to go, let me know. I didn't know if you was interested. Shout out to my nigga Grant Hill. You go, Murder, when you want to go, you let me know. So you could be a part of that.
That's a great take. And then I do want to clear up comps and stuff like that because you guys all had pretty much different takes. There were some similarities, but I think you guys don't agree on that. Mace, did you want to kind of reiterate some things before I go to Katie's comment?
I agree. I agree to some degree. I'm just saying because this opportunity means that much. I'm more so thinking about what people do with the opportunity, right? If the opportunity mean that much, then do better by the opportunity. Is what I'm pretty much echoing.
So, I'm trying to think. Because to me, it sounds like this money's being paid to you be grateful, or is that not what you're saying?
No, I'm saying the money, I'm saying how much do a person owe you, right? If these people down here are living from the aspect, and I don't want to say these people like I'm not attached to these people, but I'm trying to make a separation. If you got a class of people making 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, they're not in a class with people that are drinking canned milk, right? So that's a total different class of people. You live in the same lifestyle as the people you're arguing with. You're not living a regular life. You're getting on private jets. You're eating the best of the food, right? You got the best trainers. You got the best doctors. Your kids go to the best schools. You live in the best neighborhood. So what you're trying to really echo and stand for, unless your lifestyle is different, you kind of don't get to qualify to speak for that issue, because that's not your issue.
So last question before I move on to the second part of this. So do you think that the path it takes to get to that same level, does it not matter?
Yes, it matters.
It matters?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to go on to KD's comments because that's kind of what stirred the whole thing. So he said, I just don't like the talk around the USA versus European style of how you approach the game. All I hear is AAU is destroying the game. The Euros do it right while the Americans do it wrong. It's a lot of bullshit with that. I can read between the lines on that. It's a shot at Black Americans. We're controlling the sport and they're tired of us controlling the sport. So back to some comments that Stephen A said, Maurice, he basically said, the NBA is marketing Black players because it has no choice. So do you agree with that? Or do you think that Black athletes have consistently been the league's best talent?
Yeah, I guess it says yes to both of them. Blacks have been consistently the best talent to people who you come and watch the style they play. You come and watch how they dress, what they drive up to the games, our culture, everything about us. It makes us cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like we have a cool culture. The guys who play in the NBA are cool guys. But also, I think KD is right or Stephen A is right. Like, you have no choice. But then he's also right in saying that in order to gain control back, they're trying to say, hey, let's go get assets that we can control. You know, white guys are a little bit more, I don't want to say, I don't have another word, but submissive, but it's easier to control them if you had control of that. And that's exactly what they're saying when they say we can't control AAU basketball. That's just like AAU basketball has been permeated and dominated by young Black coaches, Black agents, and just there's so many Black people in the system that the people who actually control the business and the assets of it all, they have no control over that. So they're probably going to Adam Silver and saying, yo, let's push the game to this international game and say this is best and market that this is best. And if somebody's saying that this is the cool thing and this is the best thing going, then people start to perceive it that way. But KD saying, hey, just because you all have been, just because you've sort of, written our back, pause for the past 15, 20 years, and you see LeBron and KD and Steph leaving out the league and Ant-Man is coming up and you're trying to get away from the jaws of this world, don't act like we didn't get you all here. So I kind of see that everybody's right, but I also roll with the thought that the man with the gold make the rules. And if you don't own a team, whether you like it or not, you're going to have to live in an environment with the person who makes the rules, which is the owners.
That's a really good take, Mo. I think even my point, I'm still working on the point and really trying to convey it. Being one voice among like 3 or 4 voices that are saying something slightly different. What I'm more so another angle that I'm speaking to is that when it comes to let's say the American players, right? We're talking about African American players, right? And they're basically saying from another aspect is that this is the league is going in a European direction. I mean, regardless of how we want to say it, some of the best players right now are European players. So them creating the U.S. versus the European game is just so they could start shifting the faces of that league. And when you think of the players, if you think about, let's say, one player saying he doesn't want to be the face of the league, and you already know this is the guy you would put it on, and then you got another guy that's playing with guns, and then he could have been the face of the league. So it's not just I don't want to deal with them. It's more so that this might not be the best marketing for the next generation of talent. If you look at, where it's going, you got guys painting their nails, you got different things happening that you have to think about if you're a brand ambassador, and you have to think about it if this is your product, if the NBA is your product, who do you want representing it? take race out of it. It's a certain character that you're looking for, and it's not just based on black and white. And I hate that conversations get swept under the rug on black and white when it's really the character of the person, the integrity of the person. Like, do I want to put a multi-billion-dollar league on a person that's going to be smoking weed? I don't know if I will put my business on that. And that's not that one guy doesn't do it, but if this guy is going to be out there like that, and these are the people you got to choose from, it's a business call. It's not really have anything to do with race. And I think sometimes we get race baited. That's all I'm really saying.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think I understand what you're saying, but I think if you smoke crack and you can help an owner win, they won't give a fuck. Lawrence Taylor was coming to practice with handcuffs on and shit, talking about he can't find the key. They ain't give a fuck. It's hide up. Yo, you gonna get us 4 sacks pause tonight? Fuck it. Find a skeleton key. Take the shit off. Let him go do what he got to do. If you gonna help niggas win, I don't give a fuck how much you smoke, drink, crack, literally crack, or money. Owners want to win. And that's one thing that we allude to a lot is that when you good, even like we talk about in school and shit, and like they'll figure it out for you.
Yeah, Dow Strawberry, Dwight Good.
Yeah, there you go. Dexter Manley told the nigga after he won the Hall of Fame or wherever he was at, he can't read. Who was signing these contracts? Who's counting his money? Say he can't read or write. He said they got a college degree, master's. How? How'd that work? Because he was good enough for them to figure it out. And I just want to make sure I answer the question correctly, Stack, because when you asked it, I had an answer, but I was listening to what Mace was saying as well. So could you ask the question?
Yeah, so I said, does the NBA market black players because it has no choice, like Stephen A. is saying, or do you think black athletes have consistently been the league's best talent?
Both. So the black athletes have been the league's best talent. And look, Larry Bird said this when he was coaching the Pacers. Larry Bird said this himself, not Larry Bird the player, Larry Bird the coach. He said, look, and I remember this when he's coaching the Pacers. He said, look, if we would have more white athletes, then we would market the league a whole different way. Not saying he was being racist or anything. He was just looking at the landscape of the league. He said, you look out in that audience and how many white people you see now. He hasn't coached probably in close to 20 years, so I think that our audience, as far as attending games, has been different from prior years where you may not have been able to afford to get a seat. I think that has shifted. But Larry Bird said this shit himself. He's like, yo, if the league had more white players, that's what it'll be trying to do. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but he alluded to something like that. Think about this, right? Why is it a big deal when we think about, let's say last year in the playoffs, and it could have been last year or the year before last, like, yo, it's going to be 10 black quarterbacks starting in the playoffs for the first time ever. It's a big deal. You get what I'm saying? Like, if it was regular, then niggas would be like, yo, Baltimore playing Kansas City. It wouldn't be no big deal, but because they thought for years that black quarterbacks wasn't smart enough to play the position, then now it's a big deal. That was a thing in the 80s. Oh, we don't know the intelligence level of a black nigga to run the quarterback. What? What you talking about? Now, in 2026, 2024, whichever year it was, we're sitting here making a big deal out of 10 black quarterbacks starting in the playoffs. Which if you're, like, I think back to what Mason said, that shouldn't matter. It depends on if you can play the position, you can play the position. But because we've been stereotyped as not being smart enough 20, 30, 40 years ago, it turns out the big deal. You know, you have Randall Cunningham, my nigga Moon down in down there in Houston, the Houston Oilers before they moved out. And that was pretty much it till like the Donovan McNabbs came along and so on and so forth. But it was like 2 black quarterbacks in the 80s. May have been more if I'm forgetting it, but it's a big deal. Why do you think it's a big deal when Barack's the president? Like, oh, it's a black president. Oh, shit, yo, man. It's amazing. It shouldn't be no big deal. But because it's black, it's a big deal. That's my opinion. But to answer the question outright, my opinion is to yes to both the questions. It's no choice. Because listen, let me tell you something, Murder. Like same thing, right? When he's talking about what's that nigga? Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
The Asians was out.
Yeah.
I was going to 24-hour fitness after the game at midnight, yo. Asian people, shout out to y'all, my niggas, salute. They was out in packs like, what? We got next. And I've never seen it like that. So sometimes you spearhead a culture, not saying white culture needs to be spearheaded, but there's no way to act like you're not going, when a white dude could beat Mike Tyson, that they're not happy about it. If we're talking about boxing, like they're not gonna be excited about it. So that's how I feel about it.
One thing I do want to add, I was thinking about it because we were saying like when it happens to specifically Black people, it's a big deal. I do think that it is our duty to preserve a lot of our history because I feel like, not even feel like, it's the truth. So much of our history has been lost since the beginning of time because there were things that we did maybe first or whatever that genuinely was not documented. It was intentionally erased so we wouldn't have that history preserved. So I know people are like, well, why does it matter that it is like 10 Black quarterbacks or this or that or this? Like, I think it matters because there was a time where we erased all of that. And it obviously being Black History Month, I'm like, it is so important for us to make sure that I wish they could really see the window right now because they are actually jamming. Hey. There was a time where none of that stuff was documented for us to be able to talk about, for us to be able to celebrate. So I hope that we keep breaking barriers. And I'm not saying that that's what y'all aren't saying, but I want to add to that because I think it's so important now that we have the opportunity to do so. That's what I will say. Okay, on to football. So Browns GM Andrew Berry said the starting QB spot is up for grabs. He said, we don't have to make that decision anytime soon. I think any player that we have in that room, we would expect to compete to earn a role. Those two would be no different in reference to Shedeur and Deshaun Watson. So Maurice, in your opinion, who do you think has more upside for the spot?
Of course, I think Shedeur. And I understand why Cleveland is doing this. You know, if you hear all the buzz around town in Ohio, at least, everybody feels like Kevin Stefanski was a big problem in Cleveland, right? So when you're paying somebody $50 million, you're going to figure out if Kevin Stefanski was a problem and if Deshaun Watson can, reactivate or become what he once was, when he was down there playing in Houston. So I get it, but I still view it as a distraction. And so we went through a whole season last year with Dylan Gabriel and I forget who else, with Joe Flacco and all this other stuff, distracting Shedeur. And to me, what Shedeur means to the state of Ohio, to the Cleveland Browns organization, and just what he can mean from a leadership standpoint if you gave him that position and you sort of just like looked at Deshaun Watson like as an expensive developmental tool to help Shedeur, and you just sort of like cut your losses and move on from him and allow him to go flourish elsewhere. I think that's where the direction that the Cleveland Browns should go. But I'm not the owner. Obviously, I'm not the general manager. But I would take a Shedeur, the upside of him, the excitement of him being able to fill these stands and just the city being excited about him. To me, you going into another season and you just have all this noise about Deshaun and everything he was involved in, and can he beat Shedeur? And then every time Shedeur makes a mistake, and instead of letting him grow, pause, and sort of learn through it and get a whole season up under his belt, he's now dealing with this. And so, to me, this is bad management of assets. And like, I just believe business at the end of the day is asset management. And to me, this is just a bad decision from the general manager.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, they really should just decide what they're gonna do and let that be clear. But I know because they got a new hire and their new head coach, he has an old school type of style, so he's looking to run the ball anyway. So who his quarterback is doesn't really, and as crazy as this is gonna sound, it may not mean that much to him. But if they want this organization to win, the sooner they figure this out, the better. But I'm starting to think that Cleveland Browns, the owners and the people, they probably got so much money they don't even care about winning. Some people don't care about winning, and this is the vibe it's starting to give. Like you said, a waste of talent, but I don't think that's how they're looking at it. They're trying to create a new culture. This is how the coach could be looking at it, the objective view. I'm trying to create a new culture. I'm not giving anybody anything, Pause. I'm making everybody earn everything, and that's how we're gonna change this culture around. And what you did last year doesn't matter this year. And being the status that Shador has and the status that of the amount of money they paid Watson, they gotta let them both compete. It would be wrong to pay him all this money and then just turn the ball over to this other person. That would be a poor waste of a lot of millions. But I would love to hear what y'all got to say about that.
I want to give a shout to Emmitt Smith. He had to take on something similar to this, not the starting quarterback role, just the Shador show or whatever you want to call it that's going on in Cleveland right now. And he was pissed off. Like Emmitt Smith, pardon me, went the fuck off. He was cursing all that. And he made a great point to me. He said, you give these rookie quarterbacks a chance. Because I think what Mace said is great too. You give Deshaun Watson, he's the one they set it off with this $250 million, $240 million guarantee shit, the way all these quarterbacks are getting money. But the way Emmitt Smith put it, he made a great point. He was saying that how, you know, and that's another point you made that was good, Mace. It's a new coach as well. So he probably wants, you know, he's a new coach. He just doesn't want to say. But back to Emmitt Smith. He made a point. He said, you don't want to give this young man the keys and see what he can do. Why not? We already seen what Dylan Gabriel is capable of. We've seen Joe Flacco get in and out. We've seen what Shador could do with the little bit of time he had. He said, you do this with Joe Flacco. You gave him the keys to Baltimore. What about Bo Nix? You give him the keys and see what he can do over, and then you give Jaden Daniel the keys over there. Caleb Williams has the keys over there. He named more people as well. I just can't think off the top of my head.
Ward.
Cam Ward.
Yeah, Cam Ward. You give him the keys. You give Drake May the keys. And you sit there and say, okay, drive the car. We'll give you a few years to see what happens. And he was pissed off. And you let, especially Cam Ward, that's a great one because they stunk it up. You know what I'm saying? He's a number one pick. Not saying he can do it by himself, but you let him see what he could do this season. You know, we end up seeing the coach get fired, so on and so forth. But I really like Emmitt Smith's take when he was like, they're not doing Shador right. And just, you know, in the game, out the game, let them finish some preseason game. Don't let them finish the game. Joe Flacco starting, Dylan Gabriel starting, now you're starting. It was just no consistency at the quarterback position. So we'll see what happens this year because in all fairness, like Mace just said, it's a brand new coach. I think that's the right thing to say for a brand new coach, but it's just no stability because if you're asking who's starting next year in New England, it's not really a guess. If you're asking who's starting next year in Denver, it's not a guess. If you're asking who's starting next year in D.C., it's not a guess. And I know these are all different situations for different organizations. I get that. But Cam Ward was the best one, May said. They gave him a whole year to see exactly where he's at. And you're still not doing that when it comes to Shador.
Even the guy from New York, Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That's
giving everybody the keys.
That's what Emmitt Smith is basically trying to say. Exactly, man. Yeah.
Okay, so do women lose value with more kids? We will discuss Cam Newton's comments after the break.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. What's stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free. Why am I here this woman wanna be free? Hell, I don't wanna see her walk away. I wish somebody told me the rules. Disagreements let her win, and it's cool. Even when I'm right, this ain't about you.
Welcome back. Now let's get into our underdog picks of the day. So tonight, the Nuggets will play the Celtics. Underdog has Jokic at 13.5 rebounds. Do you have him higher or lower, Mace?
That's an interesting one because normally you have around He could have that many, but I'm gonna go higher. Anything with Joker, I gotta go higher. I gotta give him the benefit.
How many?
13 and a half rebounds.
I'm gonna go lower. I think you're gonna have 12.
Okay. Jamal Murray's at 23 and a half points. Do you have him higher or lower, Cam?
High.
When it come to Jamal Murray, he's having a really good year. I'm gonna go higher.
Okay. And Jaylen Brown's at 28 and a half points. Do you have him higher or lower, Mace?
Higher.
High.
Okay. Make sure y'all download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. So bear with me here because this is a long quote, but I want to make sure I read everything that he said. So Cam Newton says, women lose value with more kids. He said, I just think that the reality to that answer is women's value get lower the more children that they have. And he referenced a conversation with one of the mothers of his children, explaining how he approached her situation when they were together. He said, I was telling her the guy that you're dating or will date ain't willing to love on these 5 children that you have. That ain't the guy for you, because when I came into your life, I was willing to accept you and whatever you had. He also added that not everyone shares that mindset, noting that some men may separate their interest in a woman from her children. And he said, there are guys that's out there that's just going to say, them ain't my kids. I want you. So Maurice, do you think that women lose value with more kids? And what do you think about what Cam Newton had to say?
I don't know. That's just a blanket question. I don't want to say yes or no. But what I will say with this is that I think he was speaking from his perspective, being an athlete with a bunch of money. And I think, like, as I heard him say it, and I know he got picked apart by a bunch of people, like he was just speaking from somebody who probably has so much to offer that his choice of women and everything he wants from women, he can kind of pick and choose who he wants because that's the situation he's in. And anybody who has a bunch of value, whether you're an athlete or entertainer or somebody who makes a ton of money, you would probably feel the same way too. But everybody's different. You know, everybody don't care if you have kids with somebody else, and they don't value a woman based upon the kids that she have. At the end of the day, it's just sex, and somebody, you know, got you pregnant, you had a baby, but it just is what it is. So I wouldn't say that they lose value, but I think what he was actually saying was based upon whatever he can choose, he would value that less than what he would with somebody else. And so I wouldn't just give a blanket statement saying that just because a woman has kids that she loses value. But I would say everybody speaks from their own personal experience and personal perspective.
Yeah, this is a real interesting statement and an interesting question. When it comes to women, because a lot of it is determined on what does she have going for herself other than the children, right? What type of woman she is. I don't think that blanket statement, like you said, holds up in every case. I do understand that for most guys that are like premium guys or elite guys, a lot of elite guys may think that way, right? Unless she's just amazingly beautiful. If she's amazingly beautiful, it seemed like in this generation, people look past that. So I would say that it depends on what generation you're asking. In some generations, that was a problem. I don't think in this generation, it matters that you have that many children, because we see guys all the time dating people who got kids by other people, or some of the biggest couples already had children before they got together. So I think that's not valid in this generation, in this day and time. But there was a time when that was the truth.
Yeah, I agree with Mace on that one. It was a time when niggas like, yo, you taking care of her kids too, nigga? They ain't your motherfucking kids. Like,
Yeah.
it was kind of like back then when niggas like, yo, you eating a pussy, dog? Like, doing eating pussy. Like it was frowned upon. I remember Murder got mad at me back in the day. Scared. What are you doing? It's like, Murder is pussy. Sorry. Got mad. Murder wasn't with that. Now it's regular. My man told me, nigga said, nah, my bitches be loving me, killer. I eat the asshole or pussy, all type of shit. My man, shout out to my man too and his wife. He has a wife. They was giving me a little bit too much information. Back to the question, though. It depends on, I think it's like you said, more blanket question. I think Mace answered it correctly. It depends, right? I know somebody with no kids, right, who loves kids, but they just feel that they may have missed their time. They're a little older and they may not want to start from scratch. Like, I tell my niggas Sugar Digga all the time, and my niggas Sin, and a couple niggas I know that don't have kids. I'm like, yo, just stick with the dogs and shit. Think about it, right? just think about it, right? I'm not telling nobody's age. I'm just going to give a roundabout in between. I'm not saying that it's old or even close to it, but let's just say you 45 years old, right? And I'm not telling you that, or don't get scared, go rush to have a kid randomly, because I know.
No rush.
No, years are creeping up. You got plenty of time, man. If you 45 years old today, right, now, if you're financially stable, it's everything else is cool, and I understand it too. But like, even like with me, I'm a hands-on father. I would go to every talent show, whatever's going on. You know, I stayed away from exactly grades and everything because my son's mother was a teacher. She had that down packed. But I'm talking about anything outside of school. My son been on more tours than rappers. You know what I'm saying? So imagine being 45 and having a brand new baby. You go on a parent-teacher conference at 61, like, nobody got time for that at 60. Like, I don't want to be in parent-teacher conference at 60. You go when the nigga graduate college, you 70. Might be a little late. I can't tell people what time to start and everything, but I'm happy I had my kid at the age I did, because I get to enjoy my 40s and 50s with a grown ass. So I ain't got to rush back and be nowhere. He can meet me wherever, period. But I think, and Mace answered it correctly, Mo, you said it correctly as well. But like I said, I know a couple people who got a girlfriend that has a kid. Because they tell me, Cam, I like the kid a lot. But I can leave that motherfucker whenever I want because it's not mine. So when it's time for me to go, they can keep it. This ain't me talking. I'm just telling you.
Playing the message.
Oh my goodness.
I have a thought. I just think.
What's your thoughts, Stat?
I just think that Cam is kind of toxic. Not you, Cam. Even though you, I don't know. You could be. I don't know. But I think Cam Newton's kind of toxic because it's just, you're allowed to have preferences. Like, I don't think anybody should shun a man or a woman if they literally say, like, look, my preference is not to be with somebody that has a child. Like, if that's your preference, that's okay to say. But in return, saying your preference and then saying it as, like, women lose value by having more children with different partners, and then telling, you know, your baby mom, your whoever she was to you, that, like, that man better love you based on the kids that you have. I don't really see the upside in saying that at all, or even telling her that. You could literally just say, hey, this isn't my preference, but we can move forward or not. I just feel like some things are just that easy. And I know there's going to be difficult conversations, but I don't think that needs to be communicated to that person or even just to women as a whole. Because I just feel like the more things that you say that come out that way, it just makes people look like, I know, like, to you or whoever may consider that, like, you're going to be considered a high value man or like creme of the crop, whatever it might be. But saying that, especially coming from a place when you have multiple children, like, I don't get how that helps anything.
Well, let me ask you this, Stat.
Yeah.
A man with 7 children, is his value high to a woman with no kids?
It's just, I'm not gonna base the amount of kids that he have and
so that wouldn't
relate
matter
that to his
you
value.
that he got 7 kids?
I can have a preference, but I'm not gonna say that he's not valued, because I think that a father and a mother are super valuable people. But I'm not gonna say that you don't have value because you have 4 or 5 kids. I can say I don't prefer to be with a man that has 4 or 5 kids because I don't have kids. But I'm not going to go and say...
That's what I think he's speaking of. I think he just used the wrong words.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. That's when do you recognize it as a problem? You can't just go around when you have certain platforms and just always use the wrong words. I think that also comes with accountability, to be like, that is my preference. And I'm not going to tell a woman or a mother that she doesn't have value because she has multiple children. I feel like that's also your responsibility by having a platform to also, and we always talk about critiquing, and that's fine, but also watching how you say certain things.
Yeah, I don't think see, when it got to being podcasts and people not being skilled journalists, right, and growing into that journalism and being launched into journalism through superstardom from somewhere else, such as myself, such as others, you know, you had a voice before you even trained as a journalist, right? So there's a lot of things that are missing from those people, and you know, hopefully they'll find it. Like, at least I know in my understanding, I just said this yesterday, there's things I want to get better. I remember when I first started doing this show with Killer, the first person I reached out to, I don't know if he noticed, but I reached out to Shannon Sharp. And in the DM, I was like, you know, what's up? Like, you know, just introducing myself in this space, like just trying to learn from somebody who's done it, you know, and try to get some tips. He never responded, but, you know, maybe he didn't see it, you know, but I think everybody that's doing this can use a little bit more hands-on knowledge. Pause.
Yeah. I just want to say that, like, everybody who has a platform, everything that they say is being heard and listened to, and it is powerful. And so I'm not saying like you're always going to be right. And I'm not saying, oh, just because I disagree that he's also wrong. But I do think that certain words do matter. Because even looking to when he says, because when I came into your life, I was willing to accept you and whatever you had, like that makes it seem as if, like, I don't want to put words, but like bottom of the barrel. Like, I accepted you and what you got. That is so random.
Yo, go get, yo.
Yeah,
come on in, nigga. Come in. And bring your shorty. And bring the new girl. It's coming. Yo, let off center.
This is a great conversation.
Yeah, bring.
He would be perfect for this conversation.
Yeah. Don't do that. What up, Brody? What's good?
Hey.
What's happening? What's good,
Okay, how are you?
Yo, good to see you. Good to see you. Pretty good?
I appreciate your boys holding me down on this motherfucker. They don't never do no lame
Wait,
shit.
say
Yeah, man.
Appreciate these boys holding me down. They don't do no lame shit to me. They don't ever say no lame shit. They keep it 1,000.
Yeah, man.
Fuck with these boys.
Nah, we appreciate you, man. You good? Take my number, put it in your phone real quick.
Yeah.
Word.
I want to come on the show too. I'm dropping an album in April.
I bet. Say no more.
I definitely want to come on this motherfucker. Boys be kicking it real on this motherfucker.
Nah, you already know.
Yeah.
It's right on time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, go.
That's
And we ain't judging.
Yeah.
You can't. But there's just that's
It's
not
a
to
new
say
day.
words matter. Yeah, how you say them, all those things matter. But shout out Cam Newton because he is doing his thing. But I just think that there is a better way to relay what you're saying. That's what I would say. Okay, so last thing before we wrap. So in college these days, you guys see a lot of kids who come up with good parents and households compared. I can't even say compared to the 90s because, again, I wasn't alive in the 90s. But from what I've seen, right? So, Maurice, why do you think kids who grew up in responsible environments feel the need to act a certain type of way, maybe act like they got out the mud, came from a different type of environment? What do you think is up with that?
I have no clue. And when I created the question, it was more for Mason Cam, and I can't make sense of it. And I only say it because I'm around a bunch of college kids when I go around and do my thing, or when I'm going to speak to different universities and I'm around it when I'm with young kids. But I thought about the question knowing that they actually had kids and they were doing well, so their kids didn't grow up like them. And I don't know if their kids ever got caught into that way, like my father was born one way or born and brought up one way. Did they ever feel the need to feel like that they had to represent or feel like that they had to attach themselves to something that they've never done it, or what was their experience in general? And so I was at East Carolina day before yesterday, one of those days, and they said it's a problem down there with kids growing up responsibly, and they feel the need to want to connect with the neighborhood. And so this was just me asking their wisdom, their advice, and like their experience.
And the question is about how children.
Basically, like you see some kids come from good environments and like a good background. They want to act like that's not what that was, or maybe not accept that that's how they grew up and act as if it was a different way.
That's crazy. Because sometimes I used to wish my kids would act that way. They definitely don't act like they
I can't lie.
They-
I wanted my son to have a little bit.
Like when my son, I'm trying to, I was trying to get him to be that way, but it just didn't take. He just like, Dad, I'm so over the struggle. It's like he don't want to hear nothing about no struggle. He doesn't open doors. He doesn't do anything that goes with servanthood. But I had to teach him servanthood. He doesn't do anything that goes with that. He doesn't like the laundry, none of that.
Yeah, look, my son too. That's one thing I do teach my son. You got to clean up after yourself. It's hard for a boy to clean up after himself, but I do try to instill that in him. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about a little ditty bop. My son is like, I love my son so much because he's like, his bio used to say on his Instagram, I'm little Cam, I'm not from Harlem. I can't get you a record deal.
In his bio?
Yeah, in his bio.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm not from Harlem and I can't get you a record deal. And he wants his own identity, and I get it, and he doesn't want to do what I did. So my thought Mace take the other day was great. I don't even think we was in studio together, but when he was like, follow my path of what I want to do, what I want you to do until you figure out
your path.
And I always remember a story he tells me about his son. And he brought it up on the show that day about how he wanted his son to play basketball. In the middle of the game, he told him he didn't want to play basketball anymore.
He's an intellectual.
He's an intellectual. But the part that Mace left out was when his son went up to somebody and said, how you be hungry when you're not hungry? And then Mace said he almost lost it. He said...
Mo, can you imagine? He said, "I nigga want me to be hungry if I already ate." I'm gonna rush over right now.
Yo, I laughed for 3 days when Mace told me that shit, man.
Yeah,
because I get it. You like, as an athlete, especially athlete, like, you want that hunger, and he's like, how you forcing that on me though? You know what I'm saying? But I think that all listen, man, you gotta think about this, right? I think every rapper exaggerates. And not saying that they haven't rapped about what they've been through, but you didn't kill 92 people on 7 albums. You ain't throw a grenade over there. You gotta realize, man, not saying that a lot of rappers haven't been through a lot of real shit, because they have. But think about this shit, right? When a rapper's saying all this dangerous shit, you did all this dangerous shit, but you still a poet, nigga?
Yeah.
Because that's what rap is. You still doing poetry after all this crazy shit you've been through. I remember I had a rhyme, right? Damn, how did the fucking rhyme go? I had a rhyme. I said, son, my mother got mad at my crack platter, threw it away, so I backslapped her. My mom went at it and said, if a nigga would, you wouldn't have never heard of Kim. If a nigga backslapped me, it wouldn't Nigga said, if Kim backslapped me, I said, Mom, we got into a little something. She said, if you would have ever backslapped me, I said, Ma, it's with the altercation of, if you would have ever backslapped me, it wouldn't have been no rap album, no nothing. So sometimes I think, and not saying I ain't grew up in a wild neighborhood, I definitely did, but I get what you're saying. Mike Irvin alluded to this with his son, Tarantino, Quinn, what's his name? not Quentin, but
Yeah.
Tarantino.
yeah, Tarantino. Mike, like, yo,
Yeah,
you
I'm
live in the
into
gated
him.
community, nigga. Fuck you talking about?
Mike don't know how hard it's been for him.
Yeah, but sometimes too, what you gotta realize too, even this is a great question because this going for a minute. I'll just close it out saying, even if you didn't grow up in enough tough neighborhoods, sometimes that's the most times you gotta feel like you're tough. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, these niggas think I'm a gated community ass nigga. Oh, I'm in a duplex. Da da da. And that's sometimes when them niggas really be off the wall and be going even more crazy because they feel they have a point to prove because they didn't grow up in a rough neighborhood.
Yeah, I think that's a super
I had a question, though.
underestimation, right? If you thinking because this kid grew up here that he can't do that, is wow. You wouldn't get some of the murderers that we have because they came from suburbia, the real psychos.
Maurice, what was your question?
No, as Cam was talking, it made me think. I wonder if like that's the same thing that attracts people to music, where you don't grow up in it, you're not around it, but you relate to the music from the generation before when music was real and raw and all that other stuff. It just made me think if that's the same thing that kids may be searching for when they play sports and trying to identify with something a little bit more rough, rugged, raw, real, whether it's fabricated or not. I wonder if they searching for that same thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's just kids, but yes, kids as well. I think it's adults. I think adults be in the house. I know Nick be in the house. Nick, my nigga Nick in the control. I know when he listening to his rap music, he say nigga when he by himself. Bitch niggas, because he want to be into it. You got to pause it when you're around niggas. Think about trying to sing a rap song around your black friends and the nigga part come on. Yo, fuck these. Then and they didn't pick back up. I seen it. But when they home by themselves, they get all that shit off, nigga. Bitch, nigga, they like that shit. Yes, they living through it. I'm not gonna say Nick, but I know Nick. You know what Nick told me, man? I'm gonna say it, Nick. I'm sorry. Nick, I'm gonna say it. Okay. Then this is a real story. I said, yo, Nick, nah, I fuck with you. Yo, you my fucking nigga, man. He said, yo, Cam, when you call me that, it means something to me. Nick, you my nigga, man. That's my nigga, man. Nigga, my man, bro. So, yeah. Sometimes be like that, Mo.
I hope he doesn't say nigga. We used to have, like, if the white people would say the N-word in college, like, I used to, like, this sounds really bad. I used to have them set up to get scared. Like, I would tell the football players, I would have them go scare them just because I knew that they wouldn't expect it. Because you do all that, but then when you're actually around black people, then you're, like, scared. Like, I don't like all that. But back to, like, the struggle and like suburbia and gated community, because that is very much me. It's interesting because I don't even think much thought goes into a lot of things, because even the music that I listen to even today, even though I love R&B, it's not like I don't listen to hip hop and I can't relate at all. Like, one of my favorite songs, the first line is, all's my life I had to fight. I didn't really have to do that in that context, maybe in different ways, like fighting for myself. Yeah. But if it sounds good, I feel like I'm listening to it, not really thinking much thought. But it's an interesting take from all y'all, because I know y'all probably look at people who grew up in certain suburbia as kind of crazy, because I feel like we look crazy sometimes. You're like, yeah. Can't think of a certain example, but I'm sure y'all think it a lot, even down to the movies, because I know y'all be getting on me, but all I can do is try. That's what I will say. Okay, y'all. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Maurice, you know it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Likewise.
Yo, wave contest, Mo. Starting tomorrow, man.
I got you. I got y'all.
Okay, thank y'all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.